Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How's everybody doing tonight? I got on my thumbnail quite a bit of stuff. One is hero sacrifice. I'm going to go over some messages people sent me and how they might be feeling a little bit down. And we're going to take a look at what has actually been happening in our country and with our country. POTUS versus a leader. Okay? Just because somebody's a POTUS doesn't make them a leader, does it? But that's what we want. That's what a POTUS is supposed to be. So, the Heartland, I'll get into that. We know what that's about, what's happened in our Heartland. And I'm going up a little bit early. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Bubba. Hi, Sin, Mr. Kimmler. Hi, Wanda. How are you doing? So, from Russia with question mark. Remember that James Bond film, From Russia with Love? Hi, Donna. Linda, how are you doing? Brighter Day. Ingrid, how are you doing? So, anyway, folks, I want to see what kind of news, if anybody's got anything that's happened that I've been looking around at, and you sometimes say to yourself, gee, what a slow day. Well, I tell you what, it hadn't been a slow day. It hadn't been a slow week. It hadn't been a slow 5-6 years if you look at it. So when we get a little bit of downtime, as far as no big things popping up on the news, but we do, I talked about last night, we did have things pop up on the news. You just got to know when to spot it, right? But I was talking last night. I said, hey, I heard somebody said something about this Clinton aid. Is it another one or is it the same one that with the electric cord and all that? Turned out it's the same one. But what got it in the news, as many of you know, is that the coroner officially said it was a you-know-what side, right? Even though there was no GUN. So that stuff was coming on while I was getting ready to go live. But that's one more thing to put in the people's consciousness about what kind of people we're dealing with. I was going to play that video one time, the speech that got Mr. T elected. I don't know if you all remember that. I know a lot of you will. But he started off saying that these people, the Clintons, right, were criminals. Don't forget that. And he also said these people don't have your good in mind. But, you know, if I played that video, it would probably be taken down and I have to worry about my channel and all that kind of stuff. So I mentioned a lot of you in the audience watched Salty Cracker. He got taken down last week. I think he got back on to do shorts. And I told you about Odin's Man getting taken down. And I told you about a month ago about a channel. Some of you already knew about it. But some of you went to the channel. And I've seen you over there, the NPC show, right? Well, he was taken down today for a week. So keeping that in mind, a lot of people who are listening now and those who may be tuning in the future, you'll understand why I talk sometimes in code or spell things out, because I don't want to be sitting around for a week, right? So, and I have also had the unpleasant experience of just not having a channel anymore. All your saved videos, all your history, everything gone, wiped out. Can't even get into it. So I have to keep that in mind. But I don't know what he did. I think maybe he televised the visit, right? Mr. T's visit. Maybe that was it. Maybe somebody he, just kicked off the channel, made some kind of phony complaint against him. I don't know. But you can find him on NPC in capital letters, space podcast with a capital P. I believe that's what it is. And that's he's got 7 channels, but that's where he's going to be doing this stuff where I've seen a lot of you in the chat sometimes. So, a lot of people I watch, getting taken down. So I'm going to be careful, but I am going to talk about our favorite letter, and I'm going to read a couple of posts from that, okay? And I have to be careful when I do that. But I tell you, it's all around the world. It's Visit to Ohio by Mr. T. He doesn't have the formal title of POTUS, right? But there's no doubt that he's established himself as a leader. And he looked like somebody people should and do look up to by the hundreds of millions around the world. I have my friend in Brazil, and I get news reports and things that people see over there, even with that heavy censor, and then the other word is ship, right? Wild West, how you doing? Hi, Ian. Kicking Bird. Reba, let's see, who else coming in? Colleen, how are you? Hi, Colleen. Hope you're doing good, honey. I've been looking for you. Awaken Trillium, how you doing? Stacy, we've been thinking about you, Colleen. Tennessee. So if I miss anybody, like I said, Jersey Joe, I can only go so far back. But anyway, I tell you, you see these TikTok videos, and a lot of times they get taken down quicker than you can copy them and paste them and put them up. But then again, if you do that, you risk getting taken down too. But I saw one where a guy took a 3.5-year-old. He was in California, took a 3.5-year-old, and this so-called physician asked the 3-year-old what he was, if you know what I mean. And the father was like, what the? But it's becoming common practice. And his father went on to say that there are reports, and we've all seen it, where CPS, and a lot of you know what that stands for, and those that don't, I got to break it up, spell it out. The first word is CHILD, right? Second one is protective, and the other is services. But in multiple states, Ohio, and of course, California, the usual suspect states, but some states you wouldn't expect, they're taking parental rights away from parents who will not give supplements, hormone supplements, to their underage children. So this is getting out of control. This is getting out of control. Wild West getting out of the matrix. You're welcome, Colleen. Yes, Donna said, we're thinking about you too. Yep, we sure are. Poland cracking down on speech. That's right. And the people are raising Cain over in Poland. The Polish people have been through a lot. And a lot of the population in Poland were cognizant and aware of their situation when the Iron Triumvirate, it was called, the Iron Triumvirate, came and tore down that Iron Curtain. And that triumvirate was Ronald Reagan, Ronaldo Magnus. That's what Rush Limbaugh used to call him. The other was Maggie Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher in the United Kingdom, the Iron Lady, and Pope John Paul II, who was the first pope ever from Poland. Okay? Those three they called them the Iron Triumvirate. And Lech Walesa was a leader there in charge of the unions, and they broke the backs of the Soviet Union as far as the control of Poland. And it was in most of our lifetimes. And in Poland, there's a very strong respect for Pope John Paul, Lech Walesa, and they remember. So they're not going to run over top of the the Polish, like they do the Ukrainians. They're going to have their hands full. So anyway, I was going to put in the title From Russia with Love, which is a title for a James Bond movie. Many of you all probably seen. Because if you have seen any excerpts from Putin's speech, his big address that everybody's been waiting for, except it's not being shown by the regular media, he did refer to scripture. He referred to the primacy of the family. He referred to protecting young people. He referred to a lot of things. And he's not coming as from a position of a destroyer. He's pointing out what's destroying. And I will, if I get to that post, I will mention back, I think it was 2018 or 2017, Russia was mentioned in quotes concerning the church they're trying to establish. As Trump said, they can't establish their own religion. It's against the Constitution, the Establishment Clause. And what have they been pushing? SATAN, right? They got it through in the Navy. So anybody thinks I'm, talking crazy stuff, go look at what the Navy has sanctioned and what they're going through a lawsuit with the Navy as far as the Roe v. Wade. They're saying it interferes with the rituals. Okay, Roe v. Any restrictions on Roe v. Wade. So yeah, tell me I'm crazy. All right. Now I was just going through the posts on Truth real quick before I went live, and I noticed our leader, okay, they don't give him that title, POTUS, but he is definitely our leader. He put up a picture of the grand ballroom there at Mar-a-Lago with a lot of American flags lined up. And he said it was the most beautiful ballroom in the world. So I don't know if he's trying to give us a little message there, if he's preparing for a speech. And, people who feel nothing's ever going to happen, I'll get into that in a minute. We don't know when something's going to happen, but we know things are happening. Okay? The other thing he put up was a picture of Christopher Wray in the FBI article. I don't know if that's telling us something, but we know there's obvious problems with the FBI. And also an article about Fox News Corporation and their loss of business and papers closing and stock dropping along with all the others. Oh, B-Dog said, press secretary said, President Obama. No, I didn't hear that. I'll put that on the screen. Yeah, we all know he's down in the basement, right? California's going to see 8 more days of big storms. Put up. KILL is a trigger word. Okay, Wes, sorry. You put a 1 there with eyes or something like that. Got to take that down, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Every time. So anyway, I don't mean to make people mad, but I can't just stop what I'm doing and worry about whether I'm not wake up in the morning and say your channel's been taken down, or I'm not going through that. And I ask nicely every time. So anyway, let me get to where I was going to. Let's see. All right. The other thing that Mr. T put up on Breaking 911 on Truth and the Other Word Social, Trump is being deposed in Lisa Page and Peter Strzok's lawsuit against the FBI. So, remember those two, don't you? I played the video before where DJT mentioned them by name, the beautiful lovers, the two beautiful lovers. And they are suing the Justice Department. And they're all smiles and all laughs. And they found a judge that's going to compel, supposedly, Donald J. Trump to be interviewed, I guess in a deposition, against the Justice Department and the FBI. So that is going to be interesting when we see that come out. But I want to address this, get this out of the way. I was going to talk about that Wiccan that was a jury 4 person. Let me see if I got a screenshot of that. Okay, let me see. I'm just looking at the chats. Hi, Angel. Oh, what's awful? Yeah, John, I hope you got power, buddy. Hi, Bobcat. Ha ha, Bobcat stealing from the 17th letter. Ha ha ha. Brackets. Uh-oh. Well, let me see what Bubba's talking about. The fumes. Let's see. Oh yes, Nikki, I see that. I'm back up there. But yeah, that's the Heartland I was going to talk about. We've all seen maps, and I've seen a video with Mike Adams where he was discussing the types of chemicals that were spilled and their effects, long-term effects. And I was listening to it. It's gone through. It's affecting Ohio, of course, and Kentucky, Tennessee, and going. Well, they're finding dust on the hoods of their car in upstate New York from that fire. So when you look at a map, it is really, even though it stretches all the way up to upstate New York, but it is right in the heartland, and it is being compared to letting off a chemical BOMB, right? And the good thing about it was I listened to all the stuff from Mike Adams. I said, oh my gosh, we got to worry about what you eat, where it came from, if it's in the ground, it's in the water. The thing they mentioned toward the end was something that will purge that specific chemical he was talking about that's worse than heavy metal. It's airborne, it's in the soil, this and that. If you get in your body, it's 100% destructive, and it doesn't have a half-life. You never get rid of it. I was going, oh my God. So at the end they say cruciferous vegetables. I don't mean to laugh, but it binds with a lot of foul stuff, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, spinach. Trick is to find some that had been grown in that kind of dirt. But again, you're wondering, when are people going to be concerned? When are people going to get outraged? And it's outrageous that people aren't outraged. I mean, I understand being asleep, but we're talking about coma, you know? Are they that far gone? They're in a coma? And I was watching a video concerning the October Revolution and the Red Terror in 1918, and a lot of history stuff I was brushing up on. And I'll just go stray from stuff real quick to talk about when Cortez came to the Americas. He met Montezuma and the Aztec people. If you can get a chance to watch a couple of good videos on him, Cortez wrote letters, and it's in his own words what he encountered. Let me get a sip of my coffee. When you put it in this context, the Aztec people were just like us as far as cognitive ability, okay? Wanting to have a happy life, you know, they were modern human beings, of course. This was 400-500 years ago. But for generations, they were taking people on top of a temple and taking a sharp piece of obsidian and removing their beating heart, okay, and holding it up. And that's all they knew. They had one person who was given an account of being in Cortez's party, where they went to free some of these people who were lined up at the bottom of the temple, were getting ready to go up and then be the next one laid on the altar. Some of them were insulted. They felt like it was their duty and that they were going to harm them spiritually if they weren't allowed to let the priests do their number on them up at the top of the temple. So when you think about that you have generations of human beings doing something as barbaric as that to a turtle god or a sun god, or, you know, they had multiple ones, you know. Yeah, well, it kind of softens your view of people who won't wake up in this day and age, especially when you get insulted because somebody saved you from going to the top of the temple. So, yeah. Psychological, people getting in your mind spiritually and psychologically is a very powerful thing. So, watch two older neighbors carted off. Oh man, I'm just looking at the chats, and every now and then my screen freezes up, my chats freeze up. I apologize. I'm trying to keep up. Yeah, they thought the tall Spanish ships were mountains floating in the water. They were talking about these people in strange garb leaving small mountains, and there was really ships. So anyway, so when you look at it that way, how fragile spirituality is, how fragile the psychology can be with modern human beings. And you think about the inroads that this advocates of an alternative religion, how many inroads they've made, especially in our school system. And you have young ones who are watching, like the Disney movie that everybody's if you're a certain color, you're privileged and everybody's oppressed, and you can be whatever you want to be and stuff like that. It doesn't take that many years to affect generations. And you have people that are essentially brainwashed, like the people that were standing at the bottom of the temple. And it's very hard to get them out of that. So you would think that we would have a front line of parents, but apparently not. Not where you get to where people are taking uh, parental rights away. All right, in states you wouldn't believe. So it's time to rise up, and I tell you, it's no coincidence in my mind that Trump went to Ohio and made a big impression. He said, as far as speeches are concerned, for Trump, very little, but he was serious. He got down to business. He pointed out that nobody did anything till he did something. He exuded control and authority. At the same time, you have Putin giving that speech. And you can't help but not, I mean, for anybody that's concerned about the future of this world, with all the warnings we're getting, a well-meaning person can find that speech with a interpreter that's understandable and listen to what that man has to say. And there are millions, hundreds and hundreds of millions of people listening to what I consider to be the two most important people as far as the advancement of civilization and peace in this world are DJT and Putin. Putin made no bones about it, what he was up against and what he was moving to eradicate. Let me get to these posts real quick. I want to start this off. I'm going to talk about a message, and I appreciate you all leaving me comments in the comment section. If it sounds like I don't agree with you, you know, the point is to have a animated discussion. And if I, you know, I don't see Wild West. Whoa, he's back. How you doing, Wild West? All right. Your father is about to sound, so you're either for him or against him. You have free will, earth, not my kingdom. I'll put you on the screen, Wild West. That's a nice statement, buddy. Hi, Nix. Good vibes. That's right. Oh, we got a new person. Hi, John. John Zvanek. Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Yeah, John. We use numbers instead of vowels with words that, if you got to imagine yourself being a blue-haired radical that has power to take down people's channels, and whatever word, you know, I watch this guy called. Here's another one I plug. I plugged a month or so ago NPC, and I hope a lot of you people enjoy going to his show. Another one I watch is called Fat and Opinionated. Okay, and he does stories like the Brian Kohlberger case, the just stuff like that. It's very interesting. He does them, 8 or 10 minutes long, and he's a heavy-set young man. And but he did one video I was going to get screen grab of, I mentioned before, where he told his audience, listen, I don't like talking in puzzles, because he says that the person, Kohlberger, was accused of unaliving people. And people in the comments were saying, why are you talking like that? That's stupid. Because he can't speak the word K-I-N-N-L-L, right? Because they'll take him down. And but anyway, that's one guy you might want to look up. He'll tell you about his other channel, but it's okay, John. Like it never even happened. But Fat and Opinionated, give him a look. If you're interested in that kind of delving into crimes, the psychology of people, and he comes from a point, as far as a young person is concerned, of being more conservative. It's encouraging to see young people discuss things in a conservative light. Okay, I didn't mean to go that far. But now I have a comment. I'm not going to call people's names out. Hi, autistic. Um, I'm not going to call people's names out, but this is what I feel indicative how a lot of people feel. Somebody put in the comments, they need to stop all this endless hurt. And in response to that, another viewer said, exactly. And I don't see it ending either, with a sad face behind it. Then he went on to say, not one of the bad guys has been arrested, just all memes and clips anyone can put together, no proof whatsoever, whilst all these people dying and suffering just doesn't make sense. I gave this stuff up, I guess they're saying, long ago. Nothing will change. Sorry. Well, if you're listening, first of all, it's start a channel and put clips together that anybody can do, okay? I do my video things, and it takes me hours to produce videos that people can watch, okay? It takes me a long time to put together something to talk about for an hour and a half. So that's just a little personal point. But saying that nothing's happening, no one's being arrested, we would have never found out about 1/10 of all the things we know. All the things I've discussed in my past broadcasts, and there's so many I could write a list and do it, but I'm not going to go over stuff I've already gone over before. But even things like what happened to Ashley, okay? And her second name is Babbitt. What that guy that did that, okay, where he is and why he's there. What's going on, Fetterman, okay? Normal people with depression don't end up being cloistered away for 30 days. You know, there's something very serious going on there. And all the discussions, all the videotapes being released, all this with Tucker Carlson, what's going to be coming out, all the stuff about Twitter, the purchase of Twitter by Elon Musk, all this stuff would have never happened without a program that has to be supervised by the military. Okay? And all the information we're validating and proving, everybody that called us conspiracy theorists, they're all eating their words. And as far as who has been detained or caught or having to dance to the tune I discussed in the past, who have submitted and doing as they're told, we don't know. But there have been people that have made sacrifices. And to say nothing is happening, nothing will ever get done, I think that is not purposeful turning your back on military sacrifices. They're not purposefully turning their back on the sacrifices of civilians. People who've actually lost their lives in this struggle in the past 5 years or so, 6 years. And I'll go over some posts where that has been discussed. But people that act that way and feel that way, they don't mean to, but they are turning their back on people who have sacrificed. Heroes, and some we'll never know about. But I'm going to go through a couple of posts. There was one incident. If you all want to do some leisurely research, okay, on the board, right, 17, put in one word and go to the very bottom, the first post, and read them and cogitate on what's being said. If you don't understand it all, don't worry. Go to the next one and think about the stuff. Don't go looking at dates, times, timestamps, and cross-remembering this number with that. Now, don't do any of that stuff. This thing is written to where the average citizen can figure it out. Okay? But that being said, I'm going to discuss where some things that are very easy for people to see, okay? But the one I'm going to talk about, there's 2 times there were when people lost their lives on our side, white hats. One, the post says, and the word I put in is a name, and it's in 2 parts, okay? The first part, we all know the name, but I can't say it together. It's Roths. And then the second part is Child, okay? We all know that family name. Don't put it in the chats. I'm surprised I even have to mention that. But you punch that in there and go to the very bottom and read your way up. Don't drive yourself nuts if you don't understand. But because there's a lot of other posts that I'm not going to get into. But anyway, this post said the Fed, then the name of that family, and then 3 times in a row says conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. UK/Germany, okay? Choice is yours. Revelations, enough is enough. Then it says, and a lot of this won't make sense to you, but just kind of think about the countries I'm mentioning, the family names. NK diffuse, North Korea diffuse. Russia testing new missiles. Russia new threat. Coincidence? They must maintain threat to maintain power and influence. Are you awake? Underneath that, it says, our thoughts and prayers are with the 4 U.S. Marines from the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing who lost their lives in yesterday's Southern California helicopter crash. We pray for their families and our great USMC. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. That's one of the few times that they divulge when an operation has a direct effect on the board. Okay? So if you get into that kind of a funk where you think nothing's happening and you say nothing will ever get done, this is all BS, and people are putting clips together, wasting time. Anybody can do it. Well, let me tell you, what do people want to do? They want to enjoy their life. They want to have fun. They don't want to be stressed out. Okay? And they don't want to feel frustrated. They want to go carefree, right? You're wealthy if you have very few cares and you can do what you want to do. Well, a lot of people that are trying to get the word out, and that includes everybody in the chats who are talking to the friend, not just people like me, that spend hours and time looking up real, tangible information to give people hope and putting it together and worrying about, gee, what time is it? I got to go live and all this kind of stuff. It's not a barrel of fun. It's work. It's hard work. But you want to put that kind of work in to make people's lives better and to hopefully help our country come out of this in our own little way, right? We want to help. So think of how to be a positive and what positive things have happened rather than worry about things that you can't change or you think you can't change. I'll put it that way. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling through these things. I'm going to tell you about a very early post that will. The early posts are what drew people to the boards, and so much of it is coming to fruition. All right. Here's a post. I just talked about Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, right? Going to depose Donald J. Trump. What happens when insiders know the news is fake? What happens when, quote, insiders know, in brackets, AS is the leak of false data? And who's AS? Those of you stuck with me before, if you put it in brackets, AS, like Bobcat did earlier, put brackets AS, capital AS, and any other bracket, it's Adam Schiff, okay? What happens when a member of the House Intel community purposefully leaks, capital letters, fake and false data to, quote, friendly news sources in order to maintain and portray, capital letters, false narrative to the public? So I did a story on AS, Adam Schiff, losing his mind over these tapes being released, along with a lot of other J6 information. Okay. This is a post from, I think, 2017. How do you build a case against a member of the House Intelligence Committee if they themselves have access to the intelligence? What critical, quote, mission did Sessions publicly announce RE leaks? Why did Sessions make this public? And I'll interrupt to answer that. He made it clear that he will find all the leakers and they will pay a price. Okay, just a reminder. Optics are important. Control the narrative. Truth and transparency is the only way forward. Mueller deleted, quote, critical text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Reread, Mueller designed to ... The Mueller insurance policy has expired. So there you have the biggest players right now that are facing big problems with what's being let out from the J6 thing, and who is walking right into a buzzsaw is Adam Schiff and Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. So anyway, there's another quote, another post that discussed that famous name I said, ROTH, Rothschild. Okay. And that discusses a captain who crashed a helicopter, was on another mission. Okay. I started that dive when I was talking about when Trump said it's time to complete the mission. Now there's multiple missions. Okay, so Trump's putting the word out there. There's a mission going to be completed, one of many. Okay, and it came up that this helicopter pilot by the name of Green, or well, anyway, if you go through the Rothschild thing, as I said, you'll find out what happened with that mission. And they did use, but they used it very upfront. They used the scene and an act for Macbeth to give people an idea of what that mission was, what happened, and that there was a rogue operator who betrayed the mission, and a patriot lost their life in a helicopter. Okay. So you people, they bring that up just because, let people know that this is real. People lose their lives over this, and that there are things happening concerning that family. And since I brought it up, I'm going to go to a very early post, number 133, okay? And I want y'all, I know it's boring, but listen to it and think about it. November 11th, 2017. Just when the whole thing was starting and not a lot of people knew about the wars yet, okay? Hard to swallow. Important to progress. Who are the puppet masters? House of Saud, Ross and then Child, Soros. Focus on the above three. Public wealth disclosures, false. I'm leaving some keywords out and stuff that you all can figure out for yourself. Just don't make it overly complicated. Don't drive yourself nuts, okay? Just listen to the words. Many governments of the world feed the, quote, I. Think slush funds, feeder. Think war, feeder. Think environmental pacts, feeder. Triangle has three sides. Eye of Providence, follow the bloodlines. What is a keystone? Does SATAN exist? Does the, quote, thought of SATAN exist? Who worships SATAN? And I'm going to interrupt because I'm bringing this up because this early post is exactly what's being discussed by Putin and other world leaders and DJT. And it's going to have to come out in the media. Now I'll go on with this. What is a CULT? And then it talks about that island, E Island, if you know what I'm saying. What is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship, question mark? Well, we know what used to occur in temples. Follow the bloodlines. Why is the temple on top of a mountain? How many levels might exist below? The answer to that is multiple levels. What is the significance of the colors, design, and symbol above the dome? Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters traveled to this island? When, how often, and why? Now, the last sentence in this post is one of the reasons I'm mentioning it tonight. It's a quote. This is 2017, mind you. Quote, Vladimir Putin, the New World Order worships Satan, unquote. So that was a very early post, and it's discussing many of the things that are being broadly discussed now that in 2017 nobody heard of. And it brings up Putin's full name in a quote by him almost 6 years ago that he is bringing up now. A major military operation that's got us on the brink of World War III. So if people say, oh, that site's stupid, but now you can go to these posts I'm talking about and read them and drive yourself nuts. You can drive your friends nuts by trying to explain things to them that are intangible and not real. What's real is, what is a CULT? It's another religion. Okay? What do they do in temples? Or what was I just talking about with the Aztec temples? What do they do? So these questions aren't hard to understand. And if there is any messages in the timestamp or in the or something outside the actual quote, that's not meant for us, and we're not supposed to know. Sometimes, a few times, there is little games being played with the timestamps and stuff, but that's just to drive the enemy nuts. So anyway, this is the one about the helicopter pilot. And if you go to that name I told you about, this is another important one. The name that starts with an R, the family name. If you pull it up and scroll through them, I think it's 54 posts that have their name in there. You'll see stars standing with I can't. It's the R name, okay? You'll see the Pope standing with him, the present one. And you also see a picture of McStain, okay? And he's meeting with ISIS leaders. And I might put that picture up in my picture show, okay? But it's got that family name in there. It starts with an R, Roths. And then the rest is child. Here's the picture. It says, "We don't say his name returning to primetime." This was back in 2018. They were saying John McCain is going to, John McStain is going to return to primetime. And then they say, "Wonder if his so-called illness condition will flare up." Quote, "He is not a war hero. He's a mega millionaire. M Institute." That stands for McStain Institute. Okay, that's where they funnel their money. Some of them funnel them into institutes, but they are personally mega millionaires, and they're meeting with ISIS. Then it goes on to say the name Roths, and the other half is child / Clinton / Saudi Arabia / etc. And then they have links to articles you can read. And at the bottom, everything what started my podcast was RICO, money laundering, and all this, and how I thought this was an international military police action. It says, define money laundering. Define the word, quote, TRAITOR, unquote. And it says a world W/O, this man without, is a world better off. Okay, so you'll find, if you put that one name in there, Ross, and then child, okay? So I go through those posts. My main objective was to go through those posts to talk to this person who feels like nothing's happening and nothing ever will happen. Sorry. To say, look, people are losing their lives and have lost their lives. And people are working on this, and they've been working on it for years. People have given up their lives and their livelihoods and their lifestyles. Trump's put his family on the line. What kind of, if there hadn't been this operation for Clinton not to win, can you imagine if she'd have won, where we'd be? And there's a post concerning that I'll get into in another broadcast. I might do it when I'm doing my picture show. So I'm going to close out with this this short one. Okay, that's got a lot of information in it that nobody needs to track down or decode or anything. Simple. List the estimated wealth of religious organizations. Billions. Vatican Bank, 229 billions. Board of Superintendents. Supervisory Commission of Cardinals. Clown Connection. 1832, Ross and then Child loan to the Holy See. So how many people know that that family loaned the Vatican in 1832 money? A big money. So anyway, this whole thing is, in other words, we'd be pulling out a invasive tumor, societal and political tumor, ripping it out. And as DJT said, the cure cannot be worse than the illness, okay? We got to take it out surgically, and we got to do it right. This is our one shot. And this has been going on for years. These posts I talked about from 2017, 2018, they are right on the money. They're not prophetic. They're not, they're talking about the people that have to be taken down and their support structure below them. And everybody that ascribes to that religion that I mentioned and Putin's mentioned, all those people have got to be gotten out of positions of public trust. And it's deep and wide. And people who are serving that entity and don't even know it. They're just doing it because they're greedy, or they're doing it because they actually think they have some kind of inherent authority over others, that they're just born smarter and born to tell the little people what to do and get big salaries when they don't know their rear ends from third base, but they're really serving Satan. Those people need to be woken up, smacked around psychologically, okay, through social media, and gotten out of the picture, restructure their thinking, understand where their loyalties lie. If they can't stand for God, you can tell them that they don't need to expect God to stand up for them. And so anyway, folks, let me see what everybody's talking about in the chats. That's right. If you look hard, God will show you his works. That's right, Angel. And again, Putin said it. The NAZIs, they're still around, okay? He said they won that conflict. Wes, Wild West. Nick, did you see that, honey? Yep. Boy, I tell you what. Could give a hoot about this channel. That's frustrating. I spent my 4 or 5 hours today, and okay. Well, folks, brighter days are ahead. People are getting exposed. People are going to bed sweating at night. And that's good. Okay. All right, folks. I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And I will be doing a picture show, right? A picture show Sunday. I'm going to shoot for 8 o'clock. Washington time, Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to get some video clips together. Anybody could put together pictures that anybody can get and just talk about stuff that doesn't matter. No. I'm going to talk about things that are going to make us laugh, going to make us mock the enemy, going to make us realize how things are moving forward, how this country's moving forward. And again, thank you for spending your precious time with me. This is Mountain Man, over and out.